NVIDIA just delivered another monster earnings report. Revenue came in higher than expected. Guidance was stronger than Wall Street predicted. The AI boom looked alive and well. And once again, Jensen Huang walked into earnings season like the most important man in the global technology industry. But here is the part many people missed. The real story was not just NVIDIA beating estimates again. That almost feels normal at this point. The real story was a chip that most casual investors probably are not even paying attention to. It's called Vera. And according to Jensen Huang, this chip could unlock a brand new $200 billion market for NVIDIA. That is not a small side business. That is not a random product update. That is NVIDIA opening a second front in the AI chip war. For years, NVIDIA has dominated the artificial intelligence boom because of its GPUs. These are the chips powering the training of large AI models, the data centers behind ChatGPT-style systems, and a massive AI infrastructure race between the biggest technology companies in the world. When people talk about NVIDIA's rise, they usually talk about GPUs like Blackwell and Rubin. They talk about AI servers. They talk about hyperscalers spending billions. They talk about how NVIDIA became the company everyone needs if they want to compete in artificial intelligence. But now, NVIDIA is making it clear that GPUs are not the whole story anymore. The Vera chip is a central processor, or CPU, designed for the next phase of AI infrastructure. And that next phase is not just about training bigger models. It is about running them. That is the huge shift happening right now in the AI industry. The first wave of the AI boom was all about training. Companies needed enormous computing power to build larger and more capable models. NVIDIA's GPUs became the engine of that race. But once those models are trained, they have to be used by millions or even billions of people. Every time someone asks an AI chatbot a question, creates an image, runs a coding assistant, uses an AI search tool, or interacts with an AI agent, the model has to generate a response. That process is called inference. And inference is quickly becoming one of the most important battlegrounds in the entire chip industry. Training is like building the brain. Inference is like using that brain every second of every day. And the problem is simple. Running AI at massive scale is expensive. If a company has hundreds of millions of users asking AI models questions, the cost of generating all those answers becomes enormous. That means the winners in the next phase of AI will not only be the companies with the biggest models. They will be the companies that can serve those models faster, cheaper, and more efficiently. That is where NVIDIA's Vera chip comes in. Jensen Huang told analysts that Vera gives NVIDIA access to a $200 billion market that sits outside the $1 trillion the company has already forecast from its Blackwell and Rubin AI GPU lineup between 2025 and 2027. Think about that for a second. NVIDIA is already telling investors it has a massive GPU opportunity. But now Huang is saying there's another major opportunity sitting next to it, and Vera could become one of the company's biggest sales contributors. He even said he expects Vera to become the second largest contributor to sales. That is a huge statement, because NVIDIA is not just trying to sell one more chip. It is trying to protect its position as the default platform for the entire AI economy. And it has a very good reason to do that. NVIDIA's biggest customers are also some of its biggest long-term threats. Google, Amazon, and Microsoft are spending staggering amounts of money on AI infrastructure. These companies need NVIDIA chips to build and run their AI systems. But at the same time, they're also building their own custom silicon. Google has its TPU line. Amazon has Trainium. Microsoft has been working on its own AI chip strategy. And all of these companies have one clear motivation. They do not want to depend completely on NVIDIA forever. When one supplier controls the most important hardware in the AI boom, every major customer eventually asks the same question. Can we build some of this ourselves? That is exactly why inference matters so much. NVIDIA's grip on training is still extremely strong. If you want to train the largest, most advanced AI models, NVIDIA remains the central player. But inference is different. Inference is where companies start asking whether they really need the most powerful NVIDIA GPU for every task. Maybe they can use a cheaper custom chip. Maybe they can optimize their own hardware for their own workloads. Maybe they can reduce costs by moving some AI serving away from NVIDIA's ecosystem. That is the opening competitors are trying to attack. Google, Amazon, AMD, and Intel are all trying to prove that NVIDIA's dominance is not guaranteed in the inference era. And NVIDIA knows it. That is why Vera is so important. The full Vera Rubin platform combines the Vera CPU with Rubin GPUs. It is built for the world NVIDIA calls AI factories. Massive data center systems designed to produce intelligence the way old factories produced physical goods.
This is insane.
In that world, the GPU is still extremely important. But the CPU also becomes critical because it helps move data, manage workloads, keep the system flowing, and support the massive scale required for modern AI applications. In simple terms, Vera is designed to keep the AI factory running smoothly. And if AI inference becomes as big as NVIDIA believes, Vera could become one of the most strategically important chips in the company's future. But there is one major problem: supply. Jensen Huang admitted that NVIDIA may be supply constrained through the entire life of Vera Rubin. That is an incredible thing to hear. Usually, when a company launches a major new product, the question is whether customers will want it. With NVIDIA, the question is often whether the company can make enough of it. Demand is not the problem, supply is. And this is happening at a time when the whole AI hardware supply chain is under pressure. Memory chips, advanced packaging, manufacturing capacity, server components, and data center equipment are all becoming critical bottlenecks. NVIDIA's own numbers show how serious this is. The company's supply commitments jumped to $119 billion in Q1, up from $95.2 billion in the previous quarter. That is a massive increase. It tells us two things at the same time. First, NVIDIA is extremely confident that demand will remain strong. Companies do not make commitments like that unless they believe customers are going to keep buying. Second, NVIDIA knows the supply chain is now one of the biggest risks to its growth story. If the company cannot get enough chips, memory, packaging, and systems built, then even massive demand can turn into a problem. Customers may want more hardware than NVIDIA can deliver. That could limit revenue, slow deployments, and give competitors a chance to step in. This is why Vera is both exciting and risky. On one hand, it opens a huge new market. On the other hand, if NVIDIA is supply constrained, it may not be able to capture that market as quickly as investors want. And investors are already asking harder questions. Even after NVIDIA beat expectations, the stock fell in extended trading. That may sound strange at first. A company beats revenue estimates, guides above Wall Street forecasts, announces a huge share buyback, raises its dividend, and still the stock drops? But with NVIDIA, expectations are no longer normal. Investors are not only asking whether NVIDIA can beat this quarter, they are asking whether the AI infrastructure boom can keep going into 2027 and 2028. That is the big question. Is this AI spending wave durable? Or are companies front-loading billions of dollars now, only to slow down later? That is why Vera matters to the investment story. If NVIDIA can convince the market that inference is the next giant growth engine, then the AI boom looks less like a short-term spending cycle and more like a long-term infrastructure transformation. In other words, NVIDIA is trying to tell investors, this is not just about training today's models. This is about running tomorrow's AI economy. Jensen Huang is also pointing to a growing group of AI-specific cloud customers. These are not just the traditional hyperscalers like Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. They are companies built around AI infrastructure itself. And according to Huang, their spending is becoming extremely important. He argued that NVIDIA should be growing faster than hyperscale capital expenditure. That is a bold claim, because if NVIDIA can grow faster than the biggest cloud companies are spending, it suggests the company is not only riding the hyperscaler wave. It is also benefiting from a broader AI infrastructure market that includes AI cloud providers, specialized data center operators, enterprise AI deployments, and new inference-heavy workloads. That would make NVIDIA's business less dependent on just a few mega customers. But the competitive pressure is real. Amazon wants more workloads running on its own chips. Google wants more AI running on TPUs. AMD wants to win more GPU and data center share. Intel wants CPUs to matter in AI inference. And every major customer wants lower costs. This is the challenge NVIDIA has to solve. It cannot just be the best chip company for training. It has to be the best platform for the entire AI lifecycle. Training, inference, networking, CPUs, GPUs, software, data center systems, supply chain, energy efficiency, cost per token. That last phrase is becoming more important. Cost per token. Every AI answer is made of tokens. If a company can reduce the cost of generating those tokens, it can serve more users, launch more AI features, and improve margins. That is why inference is such a serious business. It is not just a technical detail. It is the economics of AI. If NVIDIA can make Vera Rubin cheaper and faster for inference, it protects its moat. If competitors can do it better, they can weaken NVIDIA's grip on the market. So when Jensen Huang talks about Vera, he is not just talking about another CPU. He is talking about the next battlefield. The AI industry is entering a new phase where the question is no longer only, who can build the biggest model? The question is now, who can run the smartest models at the lowest cost at the fastest speed for the most users? That is why NVIDIA's Vera chip may be one of the most important products in the company's roadmap. It is a response to custom silicon. It is a defense against Google and Amazon. It is a message to investors that NVIDIA still has new markets to capture. And it is a sign that the AI infrastructure boom is moving from model training into mass deployment. For now, NVIDIA is still the king of AI chips, but the kingdom is changing. The first wave was about GPUs. The next wave
Q2
may be about
guidance
full
reflects
systems.
strong momentum.
CPUs,
We are outpacing Wall
GPUs,
Street's
networking,
expectations.
memory,
Jensen,
software,
what's
and
driving
supply
that
chains
growth?
all working together inside giant AI factories. And Vera is NVIDIA's attempt to make sure it remains at the center of that world. The earnings numbers were huge. The revenue beat was impressive. The guidance was stronger than expected. But the hidden story was Vera. Because if NVIDIA is right, this chip is not just a side product. It could be the second engine of NVIDIA's AI empire. And if supply keeps tightening, if hyperscalers keep building their own chips, and if inference becomes the real money machine of AI, then Vera may become the chip everyone wishes they had paid attention to earlier.